Howdy y'all, nerfanna here, coming to you all the way from Texas, and I'm recording this on the 31st of December. I don't know if you're going to be watching it on the 31st of December or if it's going to be January 1st. We'll find out. But anyway, with it being so close to the New Year / New Year, I've just been hearing a lot about decades, it's the end of the decade, stuff like that. And I kind of started thinking about all the games that I've played in the last decade. And the main one that stood out to me is actually World of Warcraft, because I have been playing World of Warcraft for a decade now. Isn't that terrifying? I'm going to go through memory lane of World of Warcraft as much as I can. And yeah, it's not going to be gritching. If you're looking for someone to gritch, to moan, to be upset about all the new changes, that's not what this video is. This is a nostalgia video. This is a video kind of honoring like my childhood, like my teenage years, basically. Welcome to my nostalgic kind of view of World of Warcraft. Welcome to my beginnings in World of Warcraft. So fun fact, I actually received Wrath of the Lich King, World of Warcraft, the expansion, as a gift for my birthday, and I did not have World of Warcraft or Burning Crusade. So before I could even play Wrath of the Lich King, I had to go out and buy I think they called it like a battle chest back then, where it had like World of Warcraft and the Burning Crusade and all that. Oh, we're here. Okay, good. I received it as a gift. And then I was talking to my friends about it, and they're like, oh yeah, we actually play that too. Yeah, I play World of Warcraft. Oh, I play World of Warcraft. Like, this was kind of during the peak of World of Warcraft because Wrath of the Lich King. So I had enough friends that played it, and it looks like a really interesting game because the textures that you're seeing right now, excluding like the helmet and I guess the Drake is even, but these textures were like exactly what the textures were. It feels like when I started playing in Wrath of the Lich King. I had no idea where to start with World of Warcraft. It looked crazy intimidating. And one thing that came with my battle chest was kind of like the WoW history, like guidebooks and stuff. And I had never played anything like this before. I had played the Pokemon games. That's my like reach into video games at this time. Maybe like some Spyro games, but I really wasn't a hardcore gamer back then. I did more reading than any gaming. So all my friends were on this realm called Maelstrom, which at the time was a RP PvP server. And oh boy, I had no idea what any of those letters meant when I first started playing. I asked my friends like what I should play, and they were like, well, people always need healers. Why don't you play a healer? I don't think my friend realized at that point that I had never played anything like WoW at the time. I'd played RuneScape some, like enough to get like what is it, like an boyfriend and like steal some of his crap and then be done with the world. Yeah, and I kind of went into WoW expecting it to be something similar, and then when I had the option to pick not only my race but my class, I was overwhelmed. So I selected a Night Elf Priest. So my memories of World of Warcraft involve mainly running around here, being so confused, not having any idea what to do because I didn't have any add-ons at the time. I seriously just went in without any knowledge other than what the little guidebook said for like classic WoW and like Burning Crusade, and those aren't helpful. If you know anything about them, they're not really helpful when you're first getting started. This is what I first saw when I entered World of Warcraft. And I progressed, and then I finally reached a point, I think I was like level 6 or 8, where I had no idea what to do. Like, I couldn't kill things. I was just dying all the time. I remember I made it to the city. I turned the guy into the frog. I think we just passed him, actually. And I had no idea what to do. So I actually had a friend come over on his max level paladin that he healed in raids with. And he carried me around, like showed me where to go, gave me the retribution aura. So anytime something hit me, it would instantly die. And it was amazing. And he had the classic paladin mount. And I remember very clearly, like, seeing his mount and going, ooh, I really like that mount. Hey, do you have a mount you can spare so I can keep up with you? And he went, that's not how that works. And I was like, what do you mean? And so he kind of told me how it worked. And oh boy, that is when one of my favorite aspects of the game really kicked in. And that was mount collecting. That's when I realized I made the right decision going with the night elf, because I had access to the kitties as the mounts. And I was so happy that it wasn't just like a horse. And I had like a fresh drive to level 30, because at the time, that's when you could get your 60% mount, was level 30. It was painful. So I made my way over on the little priest that I had no idea what to do. I kept running into the harpies. I kept dying. I kept trying to res people, because that's like a spell I had learned and I was really proud of it. I was like, I could save this guy a trip. They were usually AFK or like logged off. And I don't think anyone ever accepted my reses. It didn't hurt my feelings, but it hurt my feelings a little. And I finally hit a level where I was able to go to Dark Shore. Still, no add-ons, totally like no idea what the hell's going on, other than my friends had played the game before and they were able to help me. Oddly enough, the friend that had said, hey, you should play a priest, didn't help me at all in like my initial phrases. He was just like, good luck. And so I made my way over here to Dark Shore, and it was a very different Dark Shore. It was much prettier. I liked it so much better. And I died to every single variation of red mob in the area. The only time I was able to kill anything or do anything quest related was when a druid that was like higher level than me, much higher level, would give me thorns, and I would just let the animal kill itself on my body. It was beautiful. So after struggling and barely hitting level 14, I gave up on my priest. I called it quits. I went, this is too hard. What else can I play? I'm just not getting it. I don't think I like this game. And the friend that had actually helped me and said, no, that's not how mounts work, kind of looked at me and went, well, why don't you try a hunter? That's a much easier character to play. You get a pet. And I went, you get a pet, you say? So that's when I created my first Draenei. And it was a hunter. And I fell in love with the quest line for the Draenei. I loved it. It was super fun. I enjoyed it so much because it's so pretty. It's so fantastical. It's not just like basic trees. Like there were gems involved. It was just so otherworldly feeling. And I fell in love with it. And also, I didn't have to try to say darn asses in like a non-super southern way, which I still can't say it right. It's still just going to be darn asses. It's super southern. I can't help it. And I loved it. I had so much fun. I still had no idea what I was doing, but I had a little tiger with me and we were going to conquer the world. I fell in love with this quest area. I thought it was so much fun. The deer were such different colors, like the white one that you can't see because of my face cam. Can you see it now? There it is. And I had so much fun here. It was just a totally different world. It really opened my eyes to the fun and possibilities of World of Warcraft. I got her about level 24, and my friend on his paladin had been helping me, and I'd done some quests on my hunter in the Dark Shore area, and there was the area in Dark Shore where you had to kill like some ghosts, and my friend was just ripping through them, and he was telling me how much easier it was to kill them on his paladin because they had an edge over like undead. And I created my first paladin, and this is her. She was under a totally different name on a totally different realm. She's transferred realms like 4 times now. And this is my oldest character in the game. I leveled her through the human area, and then I hit about level 19 or 20, and I didn't really know where to go. I know I could have probably gone to Duskwood. I think that's the level 20 human place. And instead I went go to the Draenei starting area, and I did all the quests in the Draenei starting area, and I had so much fun. I met so many really nice people, so many people that were just as clueless as me, but because I was level 20, they were like, oh my god, you're like so cool. And I'm like, oh, let's get into the actual days to kind of prove that it has been a full decade. So I was sitting here and I was like, I don't remember much. But basically, when I got my slow 60 speed mount, you had to be level 30. I hit that in June on the 22nd. So basically from May to June, it took me that long just to hit level 30 on this character. And kind of like a bad secret is that I reached a point where I just didn't like the questing. I wasn't enjoying the game. This was still Wrath of the Lich King. And I think I was about level 45 or something. And I was just tired of it. I was tired of the sequence. I was tired of XYZ. And I just told my friends, I was like, maybe this isn't for me. And then the paladin friend that helped me in the very beginning of my priest helped me level all the way to level 54, I think. And then I just had to do 4 more levels, and I think I did them in Ungoro Crater, and I loved Ungoro Crater. Just didn't like Daenerys at all. I just got bored of it. I was like, this is sand. I have this in real life. I don't want this. And I finally made my way to Outlands, where my obsession with mounts progressed further, naturally, because now there's flying ones. And oh my goodness. But I had so much fun in Outlands. I remember specifically questing in this area, killing all of these colossals for a quest. I was out of town with my laptop while a family member was in the hospital. And I just remember playing this in the lobby because that's where the internet was the best. And I had some guys come up and be like, oh, you playing well? I play well too. I'm like, okay, I don't care. Bye. I just loved the freedom of flight, being able to quickly go around. Keep in mind that this was still before ICC was even released. So this was well before flying was kind of available, period, in the main WoW areas, like the rest of Azeroth. I remember working my tail off so that I could get max level, because I was so close at that point. Because I was level 60 and it was just to level 80. So I just needed to finish the Burning Crusade stuff up to level 68. And then I would be home free to just go straight up to Northrend, do all the content there, and then I could play with my friends and actually be doing relevant content. And it was a lot of fun. And this entire time on my Paladin, this has been on my Paladin, I was Ret. I didn't understand Holy. I still am very iffy on Holy, and I've healed a few raids with her. Now, I was able to round out this expansion's part by just staying in like the swamp area, Hellfire Ramparts, and going a little into Nagran, but not very far, and then straight off into Northrend. At this point, I didn't care about raiding. It wasn't even on my radar. I was just having fun exploring the world. It was a major experience just leveling back then. Now, I did have a few friends that could very easily level their characters, no joke, like within about a month or two, max level, while still being in school, working, and being on sports teams. They had it nailed down. And while I was leveling in Outlands, I noticed that one of my friends kept coming to Outlands, the friend that had helped me the most through this entire experience. I asked him, hey, why do you keep coming this way? It didn't really make sense to me. Come to find out, these beautiful, low poly, but still beautiful, mounts were available. The Netherwing Drakes. And I was obsessed with them. I joked with my friend that I would get them before he did. And once I hit max level and all that hoopla. And he was like, no, you won't. Blah, blah, blah. Just teasing. It was fun. And I ended up getting them before he did. I still don't think he has them, actually. And this was, oh Lord, this was seriously in 2012. This was before 2012. I got them before Ruby Citadel or whatever it was, Sanctum. Before Ruby Sanctum came out, I got these mounts. I like made it a point. I was like, I'm going to do the dailies. I don't care. They're worth it. They're beautiful. And I still agree with myself. So I'm actually just really lucky to catch this. This is a really cool occurrence that started happening all around Stormwind. Kind of like at the end of Cataclysm, you would go on this long quest line and you would receive this staff that the dragon's wearing. And it would allow you to actually kind of turn into this dragon and be your own mount. It was really cool. And then they like dropped the ball and they just stopped doing stuff with it. And it made me really sad. Also, Happy New Year's. I'm recording this, we're just chilling, waiting for the ball to drop and I can go to bed like the grumpy old lady I am. Once I finally hit 68, I went to Northrend, and I felt like I was that much closer to my friends because they were basically all raiders of the Lich King era, during the Lich King anyway. So I was in Outlands for about 4 weeks, I want to say, just questing, and then I finally hit Northrend, and it was surreal. I was that much closer to being able to play with my friends that I'd been like talking to about all the WoW stuff, you know, and they'd been encouraging me, they'd been helping me, and they'd been like guiding me a little. It was mainly my paladin friend. Yeah, this is a crazy map, by the way. The fact that all of this has popped up since I started playing is just crazy, because there were just 3 when I started playing. No Cool Terrace, no Broken Isles, no Zandalar, no Pandaria. Nothing. Also, my loading screens are hell because I don't know why. My WoW loading screens are absolute garbage. But I made it to Northrend and I loved it. They revealed so many cool new features, except for they took away my flying. And that made me a little salty because you used to have to buy flying. I think it was at like 78. And it was such a pain. But it was such a beautiful contrast. It was so interesting. It was such a different story. It was a different twist. And it was a lot of fun. And until it wasn't, because remember, I'm on a PvP server. And oh wow, I was not good at PvP. And there were about 2 or 3 raid tiers out at the time. So I was severely under-geared. I was so close. And it took me 6 weeks to get all the way to level 80. And from there, back then, you had to actually do like dungeons so that you could get tokens and buy gear that would make you raid ready. And so I did a lot of dungeons, and I finally got to where I was raid ready for the most basic tier. I think about 2 months before the thing came out. And I was just like, you know what? Instead of just pouring all my time into like gearing and stuff, because I still wasn't very good at it. I wasn't good at PvP. I didn't really know how to play my character that well. Hi, how are ya? I actually started my own guild, and it was literally me, my paladin friend, and one of my other friends from high school. Not one of the raiders, but like one of the quirky ones that had personality just pouring out of her. Loved her to death. We didn't do anything with that guild. We were annoying in Stormwind. Like, that's all I did, was I was just annoying. I didn't farm. I didn't do anything. I just enjoyed it. And I fell in love with Dalaran. I thought it was such a cool concept. And then they introduced flying into the world, like the patch before Cataclysm. Cataclysm came out in 2010, and it totally shook up the world as I knew it in World of Warcraft. By this time, I had achieved the Explorer's title, so I was proudly exploring the lands as a low-geared level 80. It was a lot of fun, because especially this was all before you could fly. I was running around. It was insane. And I ran around with my friend that did the guild with me, not the paladin friend, but the personality abounding friend. And oh god, Silver Moon. That was like one of my favorites. I was trying to explore Silver Moon. And it's just like getting swamped with guards, dying, and just taking res sickness and calling it good. And being like, this is fine. And then my junior year of high school, Cataclysm came out. I don't know if it'll let me cast. Oh, it will. Okay, let's see what my memory is on these spells. It's all right. And I decided that I was gonna tank on my little baby paladin. And I did. Not well. This dungeon especially gave me absolute hell. Okay, stop. Damn it, that's rude. Okay, he's dead. And I don't know. It was just like a really silly thing. I was like, I'm gonna quest and I'm gonna level and I'm gonna just be a paladin tank. Didn't realize how bad of an idea that was. Because I, number one, still wasn't very great at the game. And number two, this was a very trying time for tanks, if memory serves correct. There was a lot of CC required, and yeah, it required talent that I hadn't established or even like used before. So it didn't go well at all. Especially this dungeon. I have a distinct memory of this particular dungeon because of the break yourself upon my body guy. And oh lord, yep, I remember him. Also, I still have not had this dragon drop them out for me. Out of all the dungeons, this mount has given me the most grief. But alongside with my paladin, I decided, you know, it'd be fun. I think I'm also gonna heal as a disciplined priest. Did I have experience healing as a disciplined priest? No. Did I have a disciplined priest that was leveled? Still no. Remember, I deleted. Yeah, there's a reason that this character is my oldest, even though it's my third character I created. It's because I, like, insta-deleted my priest when I realized this isn't fun. Didn't matter that I could have 50 characters. I was just going to delete it. I didn't care. And so I did. And then I had to create a whole new priest, level her all the way up to 85. Ooh, spicy. And yeah, I wasn't very good at her. I distinctly remember that I was trying to heal a dungeon, and it was one of the later dungeons, not just like the basic dungeons, like what I'm running now. It was like one of the more advanced dungeons, and I had 2 blue items equipped, just 2. All the rest were purple, and I got vote kicked out of the dungeon because of those 2 blue items. Yep. WoW's not toxic. But that's just something I remember. Oh, wait, I want to have... Wait. Yes. Sound effects. Let's go, baby.
None may pass into the world's heart.
Oh, okay. But this is seriously one of my favorite dungeons from Cataclysm. And, yeah. And as for rating, after I got kind of force-kicked, voted off the island, if you will, on my priest for healing, I decided I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything else with this game. And so I just kind of chilled and... Okay, go on. I just chilled and didn't do any of it. I didn't even participate in LFR when it came out for... I think it was Dragon Soul had the first LFR. I didn't do anything with it. I was just like, that's nice. I'm not going to play it. And I did. And I kind of wish I did. Because those appearances, oh come on, were really pretty. Also, yay for being max level, doing an older dungeon. The numbers are gross. Can I like... I'm out of range. Oh, you are not out of range.
The world will be reborn in
Come to me, woman! Flames! Oh, she has a Christmas hat on! Oh, she has a Christmas hat on. She's adorbs. She's still gonna die.
My death.
So
Countless more
that
worlds
was my time in Cataclysm. But one thing I did during Cataclysm, now that I remember, is I had my paladin friend kind of buy a new account. I think I paid for like the time on it. He paid for the game, or one way or the other. And I power leveled quite a few characters so that I could have a wider variety instead of just having my paladin, literally just my paladin, and then my priest at the very end of the expansion. And from that, I got my warlock, and that's mainly what I played until Legion. In 2012, the Mists of Pandaria were released, and with it came pandas. Oh my god, so many pandas! No, really, there were a lot of pandas. As well as monks, and that was interesting, and I couldn't care, evidently, because I literally did a panda, got it to level 20, chose the alliance, and it's still there. I'm pretty sure it's still there. It actually is still there. But that is when I shifted more to like my warlock, and just kind of chilled. Miss Pandaria actually came out when I was in college for my very first semester, and I was having a lot of fun with friends and all that hoopla. So I didn't really do much with it. I just chilled. I made my warlock, I can tell you that. I did LFR. I was the LFR hero, if you will, for Throne of Thunder. I don't think I even ran like a DPS meter. I seriously just was like, this is fun. There's lightning and stuff, and it's cool. I didn't appreciate it. I did like the leveling, especially kind of in the Jade Forest, and then I got tired of it from there on. It is one of my least favorite places to level, still to this day. But it was a very pretty expansion. It was beautiful. At the time, I was like an Asian studies minor, and I was having a blast listening to the music that's not playing, even though I have music on, enabled. Doesn't matter to the game, evidently. It's just not going to play with me today. So it was the era of the panda. Not only the floating pandas, but just the panda. And I know for a fact that one of my friends, who was also a freshman at the same time as me, struggled with school because he really liked it and he got really into it. I didn't. So, sorry. Whoopsies. One thing I do remember, actually, is spending a lot of time working to get the Cloud Serpent mounts and to get like the black one from those people in the colder place that were like the ninja pandas. I don't remember what they're called. Oh, wow. But that's also when Siege of Orgrimmar came out. And, oh my god. Yeah, no, I still just did LFR for that. I didn't care. That was also when the Black Market came out, but I was on an RP PvP server that was predominantly Horde, and I was playing as Alliance. Almost all my friends at that point, except for my Paladin friend, had gone to the dark side and transferred to Horde onto Condrius. And I was like, that's stupid. Why would I want to spend that much money transferring like all my characters that I've built up, switching them over to like Horde, and as well as a like realm transfer, server transfer. So I was a maelstrom basically by myself with my Paladin friend. And my friend that had personality in boatloads, she stopped playing. She got married, and she called it good. She called it good with her life. Not much happened. I don't remember much of Pandaria. Like, I know that it was before Warlords of Draenor, but besides, like, the Cloud Serpent mounts, I remember they had some dailies that I didn't like. And then Warlords of Draenor came out in 2014. And, oh lord, I thought that I had at least played a little bit on my Paladin during that time. No, I had not. That was a lie to myself, and I'm sorry to myself. I accept the apology. Normally the garrison looks very pretty because that was the entire expansion, basically. There wasn't a lot of togetherness. There wasn't a lot of memorable stuff other than the very first day of the launch I had made a friend online. I don't even remember who it was, which is great. But I had made a friend online, and he was fortunate enough to catch the super rare elephant spawn that would drop the mount. And I was like, oh my god, I want to get it too. And I still don't have it. So I didn't do a whole lot with WOD during it because I was still in college. That's when I was working a little more towards like my YouTube channel under Heart Glam. And I just didn't really spend a lot of time doing it. I think I did just weekly raids so I could get mounts. And transmog was pretty strong at that point, I want to say. So I spent a bit of time doing some transmog. I leveled side characters. I did not play my paladin, as you can most definitely tell. I'm pretty sure I played mostly my priest and my... oh god, what is it? And my warlock. My one, like, really big memory of WOD is that I didn't like the dungeons at all. I thought they were really stupid. It was really frustrating that they were so focused on, like, the angry horde. But basically, like, bad orcs. But, you know, I play Alliance, so they're all bad orcs. And it's not like, oh my god, he's the uncle, grandfather, son of the guy. You know? I mean, I'm just like, okay, it's an orc. Oh, this one's brown. This one's not brown. Nice. No, I just played and just killing around stuff. Still, I was maining my warlock at that time. And I was an LFR hero for the very first raid. And that raid was the one with like all the orcs. I know, surprise, plot twist. I know, terrifying, scary, amazing. Wah wah. And, oh Lord, I decided I'm going to join a raiding guild. This is my time. I'm, you know, kind of casual, like, WoW player, but I play enough that I can do it. I can raid. I will do great. And I was on, like, a warlock, which is still pretty strong. Like, warlock has been, like, relatively strong as long as I played warlock. And so I thought, that's a good idea. And... oh Lord, I did 1 or 2 like gearing raids with the guild. It was a rather small guild. There weren't too many people in it. And the first raid that I did that was officially like heroic raiding progression for the guild. And they were actually trying. I received loot on the second boss, I want to say. And then I got to the twins. And the twins dropped a ring for me. This is all based on memory. And the guild leader told me very callously, hey, you've already won 2 pieces of gear. I'm gearing my shaman right now, and I'm a healer, and you're just a DPS warlock that's new to the guild and that's never done anything for this guild. And I'm going to take this ring because you already won a piece of gear on top of that. And I went, oh, okay, well, it's like a huge item level upgrade for me, but whatever. Like, I don't care. You know, like, very first time actually raiding. I did a few, oh god, what were they? Like, the vault raids at Wintergrasp during Wrath of the Lich King. They didn't usually go well because I was part of them and I wasn't very good. And so I was like, whatever, okay. And there was already, like, a bit of tension. Like, the hint of tension was in the air. And... one of the officers, I think he was like one of the main raiders, was like, that's bullshit, dude. Like, give her the ring. Like, why aren't you just giving her the ring? Your shaman doesn't even need that upgrade. It's not an item level upgrade. It doesn't increase your stats, anything like that. And then the GM was like, it increases. I think it was either spirit or intellect. I don't remember which. And it's the only... like slot that will increase my spirit or intellect at the time. And I was like, okay, whatever, I don't really care, let's just keep moving on. And yeah, no, the officer wouldn't have it. And then a few other officers chimed in and they're like, this is bullshit, you know, she's new to the guild. And this was during Ventrilo. This wasn't even Discord. This is the time frame. And they're like, this is total bullshit. You need to just give her the ring. You know, you don't need the ring, stuff like that. And I was like, guys, like, it's totally fine. Like, I don't really care. I'll just come back next week. Like, we'll get gear next week, and I can gear up some more next week. Or I'll gear before the raid, you know, whatever. Yeah, the officers wouldn't stand for that. And I got the ring, and then within 24 hours, the entire guild collapsed on itself. So I destroyed a guild in WoD over a ring. And I just kind of like tapped out, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm good. I don't need to do any more raids. I'm just gonna like kind of not. And I'm pretty sure in that time frame, I really just heavy focused on doing older raids, getting mounts, getting transmog. I want to say transmog was like a big thing then. I don't remember. And I was like, okay, bye. Bye, drama. I'm not going to join a guild anymore. And I had a lot of fun with my garrison. However, like I said, because I was not part of a guild at all. Yeah, it was probably the loneliest expansion I ever had, where I was just running stuff by myself the entire time. Like, at least with Wrath of the Lich King, which is what I entered on, I had fun. I had friends that I could talk to, XYZ. Going into Cataclysm, I really enjoyed it. You know, it had enough content that a solo player like myself could enjoy it. And I was going into college at the end of it. And then Mist, I didn't really play much of, so I didn't feel like I missed out too much on it. And then in 2016, Legion became a thing. I will say, while I'm in a loading screen, that Warlords of Draenor had some of the most interesting mount introductions and the rare spawns, and it was a lot of fun to kind of join the random group finder that way. That's actually how I got the Talbuck mount that is from a rare spawn, like 100% drop at the time. But basically when you went to like the middle part that wasn't Ashran, like the max level stuff, I didn't play any of that. I had flying, as you could tell, but I didn't play any of that because I didn't care. Honestly, Legion was one of my favorite expansions. Legion came out in 2016, so it came out the very last semester I was in college. And at the time, I think I was taking like 20 hours or something like disgusting. And I didn't have a lot of time to do my YouTube or to do video games. But I was still like trying to do YouTube at the time. So I didn't really do a lot of WoW at the beginning of Legion. I remember I did level my Warlock to max level. And then once I hit max level, I'm pretty sure I like transferred her right away from Maelstrom, which was an RP PvP server, to Proudmoore, which was just like a normal server. Because at this time, there weren't like normal servers. Like, you know, you couldn't toggle PvP at the time. And Legion is seriously one of my favorite expansions, partially because I found a lot of things to do with it. I felt like it was one of the first expansions that really kind of leveled the playing field between Alliance and Horde. Because if I'm being honest with you, kind of Battle of Azeroth feels like Alliance got DLC, where they get like slightly newer models of already visited leveling areas, and Horde got an entire new city, and they're cool. And Alliance are just kind of, we're there. Or a leader has a cool ass horse. We just get regular horses that are just remodeled. That's what it was. That's what the entire concept was. But this was a really fun expansion. I didn't play it too much when it first came out. I got to max level, transferred servers, joined a guild where I didn't do anything in it, and just kind of chilled. That's it. Like, really, I was super relaxed at the very beginning, like the last two expansions. Like, I really was afraid. This is the expansion where I really cut the cord. So I graduated college, continued my YouTube, like, seriously for another 2-3 months, hit tax season at my job, where I was a tax accountant, and it was absolute hell. My favorite thing about Legion is that I got to play around with a lot of characters. During Legion, I'm going to stop right here so I can like focus on you. Hi, how you doing? During this time in Legion, I spent a lot of time playing on a lot of different characters. I think I have a Blood Elf Demon Hunter on one realm. I have a Troll Druid. I have like 3 or 4 characters that are max level on Alliance, including my Druid, my Mage, my Priest, and Monk, I guess 5, and my Paladin at the time. So I was able to do like the challenges and stuff, and it was really fun because you were unlocking appearances. It wasn't just like, can you do this? How high can you get on ranking? And at this point, what are they called? The Keystone Dungeons didn't really matter. And that was huge for me. Like, I could do LFR and enjoy it and not have some prick be like, you're not doing enough. You need to do my Keystone Dungeons in order to blah, 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 blah. Okay, go away, number 1. Number 2, it was like kind of casual, and especially at the end, it became very friendly to off-specs, which I loved because at that time, I was able to, on my Paladin alone, run Ret, Prot, and Holy with like not equal proficiency because I'm like garbage at Holy, but like equal proficiency. You know how I said I was in this like guild on my Warlock super casually? Well, around September of 2017, right at the end of this raid right here, the Tomb of Sargeras, I was actually contacted by a real raiding guild on my new server. And I was like super excited, and I started raiding with them, and I had lots of fun. I didn't break up the guild this time, which was huge. And you know how I said that like one of my goals in Cataclysm was to main tank or whatever on my Paladin? Yeah, they ended up needing a tank. So I transferred over my Paladin, and I really had a lot of fun playing with her. And it was fresh again. The game felt fresh. I was able to very quickly level up my like artifact weapons, and the artifact weapons gave me different appearances, which really satisfied kind of my tendency that I built up over the last few expansions of being apathetic to raiding, of just spending my spare time in the game farming appearances. And it really fed into that, and I loved it. I had so much fun. I had one weapon that I knew that would carry me through no matter what. I was like, whatever spec. And it was beautiful. And if I was really good at my spec, I was able to unlock like a better appearance for it, a super rare appearance. Fun fact, on my Paladin, at this time I'd been playing, I guess for like 7-8 years. And I was able to unlock like the challenge tower appearance for Holy, Prat, and Ret. And I was super proud. I am very proud of it still to this day. It's one of my favorite things about this expansion, besides establishing like some friends in the game and actually raiding. And during this time, I was able to get ahead of the curve for the first time ever. I went for 8 years. I know people do it like within like that long of joining the game. I'm a slow pickup some days. This game has definitely helped me master a lot of other games and better my PC gaming skills in other games such as like Octodad, which is, I'm pretty sure, still this channel's like trailer or whatever they decide to call it, what quirky name they decide to call it on YouTube. And I love it. This was like the peak of WoW for me. I absolutely loved it. I was having fun. I was with people I liked. I was collecting appearances like crazy for my specialization, as well as like some other specializations that I wasn't really good at. But you know, like the game was at a point where I could actually get the holy appearance. And as I have said multiple times through this video, I am garbage at holy. Like, I don't get it. I'm not a good healer. I can heal on my druid as Toto no mas. That's it. That is the only thing I can heal on. With Legion, I just had so much fun. It felt more accessible to alts. The only difference was like a weapon that I had to just feed candies to. And I loved it. I loved it. It was, we shook it. Okay. I was really impressed with Legion. And that super hyped me up for going into the Battle of Azeroth that came out in 2018, which was kind of near the end of my super WoW-packed obsession. Like, if I'm being honest with you, ever since the second raid came out, I've logged on 10 times. And that's not good to say because I still pay a monthly subscription. But let's get into Battle of Azeroth, which I really didn't want to do because damn you, Alliance DLC, because that's all it is. And welcome to Battle for Azeroth. Yeah, I don't have flying in this expansion. I'm pretty sure it's been available for almost a year now. No. So, this expansion really just hasn't been it. And like I said, this isn't like a gritch and moan, kind of video. I'm here to talk about the nostalgia. So I'm going to talk about like the first two raid expansions because that's the only nostalgia I have for this because then I didn't log on, basically, at all. Period. So for this expansion, the Alliance, and I will say it quite loudly again, got DLC for fat humans. That's literally it. We are sea folk, and then none of the questing zones are in the sea. Okay, enough glitching. Anyway, this is an interesting expansion. It is a pony mount expansion, so of course I'm not too enthused about it because I have the horses. I don't need them. That is like one of the main things that gets me really hyped for expansions are the mounts and like the appearances. And I literally got the only appearance I want besides like mythic rating. And your girl ain't doing that. That's stupid. During this expansion so far, without logging on for the last, has it been one or two? I think it's been two. I don't know. The last ahead of the curve I received in this expansion was for killing Jaina Proudmoore. This expansion really felt more like it was very hateful, very to classes that weren't within what it deemed as like the meta. For example, as a paladin tank, which I have been and I defeated and Taurus with ease enough to get the mount on in the last expansion as the final boss, which was hella hard. BT dubs. I've heard it from like 4 people at least. Probably more than that. Anyway, that like no one will take a paladin tank. And the problem is after we defeated the first raid tier in Heroic, which was Cahoon, I was kind of told by my guild, paladin's not working. Go play monk. That'll be a lot easier on you. So I did. I didn't like it as much. And guess what? The guild kind of like fell apart. Like totally fell apart at that point. So I had to go to my druid where I was able to heal my way through heroic Jaina with the guild I joined on the horde side, and then they like kicked me afterwards because that wasn't useful, even though I was the only healer alive at the very end and kept everyone alive. Math. So yeah, I don't have a lot of fond experiences for this expansion. It's not just like, ooh, they kicked me, kind of like Kata was. But I played this for 2 raid tiers very solidly, and then I just didn't care. I will probably try to get into a group that does like, like the friendship raid group, whatever, so I can get whatever the hell the ahead of the curve mount is. I don't even know if that's the raid that's out right now. I don't know anything about this expansion in recent times. I deleted Facebook, so I don't get to see Wowhead articles every week. Do I have any idea where I am? Nope. I'm by the main city, I think. That's all I know. But like I said, this hasn't been a super fun expansion for me. I don't just look at it and go, the time I had. I look at it and I go, oh yeah, that's the one that has the fat humans, right? And I've even played on the Horde side, so it's not like I'm like totally just glitching. Like, I've played on the Horde side of this whole event. It's not much better. I don't have flying on there either, if you wanted to take a gander or a guess. It's, I don't know. It's missing a spicy something. I don't know. I don't know where I am. Doesn't this look exactly like everywhere else I've been in the last 2 to 5 minutes? The answer is yes. I don't know. Maybe if you played this a lot, you'd really like it. I tried getting into the PvP for season 1. Best answer I can give you is I did 2 raid tiers, got ahead of the curve on both of them. Once again, this video isn't intended to glitch. It's more to kind of like reminisce. But honestly, I feel like if I look back on this in like 2-3 years, like I have with even just Legion, I'm gonna look at it and go, I didn't particularly like the starting zones. I remember that I tried leveling with a friend in the guild that I was in that got me like the ahead of the curve for the last 3 times, not Jaina, the one before those. And yeah, we did like the Storm Veil, I think it's called, and it crashed for over an hour, and so we got totally screwed over. I don't have anything else. I don't particularly remember anything else super fun, super interesting about this expansion, other than I have spent way too long on this expansion in this. It also kind of doubles as the expansion where they kept bribing us with mounts to keep our subscription, even though you could probably pay like, what was it, like $25 to get the exact same mount. But they're like, no, stay subscribed. You'll be happy. You get this mount. Oh, classic WoW too. Thank you all so much for watching. That's all of my nostalgia kind of trip through World of Warcraft. I don't know. I hope in the next expansion, WoW is more alt-friendly and all that hoopla, because I have so many characters that I could get to max level, but I just don't care. And with that very kind of gritchy sentiment, I want to know kind of like what your memories of WoW are so far. I know I've been talking about this for way too damn long. That's a good measurement of time, I believe. So yeah, tell me what you think of WoW so far, what your memories are. XYZ, hello text message. I hope to see you on the next one. If you giggled, triggered, or Friday, make sure to click that subscribe button. And as always, hope to see you on the next one. Bye. It was really nice to get to just kind of talk about, oh, hello, music. You've been missing for 20 years. Almost pulled out a milk carton ad for you. Why don't you walk on water, walk on water, walk on water, walk on water? Why is this hard? Walk on water, walk on water. Why can't I walk on water? Equipped in your mount equipment slot to allow you to walk across water while mounted. What? Why can't I walk on this water? 911? Okay, what? If you were looking for another reason why I didn't like this expansion, what is glitchy? There we go. There we go. Okay. Any bets on if this takes me to new Burning Crusade content or like the original, the real? Oh shit, this takes me to the... Damn it! I'll be salty. No, not Warlords.